Hi, everyone. This is Susan Rubio. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to attend our webinar, 10-Day Reboot, Fresh Start to a Healthier You. The slide that you see on the screen right now has some technical information for you. We'll show you this again when we get to the end of the webinar and we get to the Q&A portion, so you'll have this available to you. David is our technical coordinator today, and if you have any problems with the audio or the webinar, you can go ahead and type to David in the chat window. I believe it's going to say send to presenters, and David will see that, and he's more than happy to give you a hand today. This is our agenda for today. I'll tell you a little bit about me. We're going to talk about the 10-day reboot and what you can do to kind of get yourself back on track after the holidays. I will talk a little bit about health coaching and what health coaching can do for you, and then we'll move right ahead into the Q&A. So a little bit about me. I'm a certified health coach, and I'm a graduate of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I graduated in 2013. My professional background is actually in technology and communications, as well as social business. I am passionate about health and wellness, and I'm also a wellness ambassador in my corporate job. You can see on the screen here, I've got some information for you, my website, my email address. I have a Facebook page and also a blog on WordPress, and I welcome any feedback you might have. And if you'd like to visit and participate in the conversation there, that would be great. I began my own wellness journey back in 2007, and it really changed my life. I am a big proponent of Bob Greene's Best Life diet. I followed that for many years around 2007 and beyond, and many of the fundamentals of that play a big part in my entire wellness journey today. I'm 59 years old. I'm a very happy person who loves life. I've got a great husband, a dog, and two great kids, and two adorable grandkids that I absolutely love too. So, why do we overindulge? It sure is easy for us to lose focus. Different things happen in life, like special events, whether the holidays, like we just got over those, or birthdays, and sometimes birthdays that happen around the holidays. My grandson's birthday is 2 days before Christmas, so it's, cramming many celebrations right around the same time of year, weddings. And those types of events really invite us to eat the foods that aren't available in a typical day. And you can't really blame us. Sometimes you get something special like, Aunt Betty's secret recipe for her brownies that she won't share with anyone else, and you're going to be able to get them. And so you indulge and you have those during a special occasion. And often what happens when we have special occasions is not only are we eating foods that we don't necessarily get all the time, but we might be having special drinks, whether they're cocktails or special champagne or special wines. My sister loves to bring special beer when she comes for family events, and the family really enjoys that because she brings some beers that they don't normally get. So that combination of alcohol and special food can really dull that focus that you might have. And we like indulging on the holidays. That's part of what makes the holidays so special. The other thing too that can really affect our focus, especially I think for us women, is that we spend our time making sure that we're taking care of others, and we put ourselves at the bottom of that list, or maybe we don't even end up on the list. So when the end of the day comes, we've kind of picked at whatever food we have. Maybe we didn't get our exercise in, and that can play a big part too. And it makes us tired, which is really a catch-22, because we know that if we're eating better and we're exercising more, that's going to make us feel better. But often, if you wait till the end of the day and you think about it, you're just really, too tired to put forth that kind of effort. So let's take a quick look back at the holidays and think about what that was like for you. Were you tired over the holidays from doing so much? Did you have poor eating habits? Were you staying up late to get a lot of stuff done, or maybe worrying about how well things were going to go so you didn't get enough sleep? Many people, as a result of all of that happens over the holidays, will have a goal or a resolution in January. I've done it many times myself. And yet, even with the best of intentions, it's kind of hard to meet those goals. So, today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some small changes that you can incorporate for 10 days that will help you feel better and have more energy and be ready for the new year. So, instead of thinking about today, a large goal that you might have for 2016 to exercise 5 days a week or to lose a particular amount of weight or spend more time with your family, whatever, a large year-long goal might be. Let's focus on what you can do for 10 days to kind of ease yourself back into good health and to feel better about yourself so that you're in a better place to really evaluate that larger goal that you're going to want to do for 2016. So taking small steps to make that happen. Let's go ahead and get started. So my plan for the 10-day reboot is to take what you're going to eat for the next 10 days and add juice or a smoothie for one of those meals. You can choose which meal it's going to be based on your schedule, what works for you. Personally, for me, I like to have my juice in the morning for breakfast. I think it's a great way to start the day, and especially for people who don't really like to eat much in the morning for breakfast, it's a really good way to pack in some good nutrients and get some calories in you with some good vitamins and minerals to start your day. And you're drinking it too. So if you're not one who wants to sit down and have a bowl of oatmeal or make yourself a hot breakfast in the morning and you're rushing out the door, you can take the time to make it. You could even make it the night before if you want. A juice or a smoothie is good in your refrigerator for 2 to 3 days. So if you want to make it, even make it in a batch so that you can have it for a couple of days so you're not rushing to make it, you can do that as well. Having it for lunch can be helpful if, depending upon your job, sometimes it's hard for you to get away at lunchtime. I do a lot of conference calls at work, and I'm on the West Coast, and I work a lot with people on the East Coast who like to schedule meetings for noon Pacific time. So sometimes I have to take my lunch early, or I end up breaking late, and sometimes I'm not able to get away. So a juice for lunch might not be a bad idea when you have days like that, when it's just difficult for you to eat. You've got it with you, you can take it to work, and you get it then. You could also do a juice or a smoothie for dinner. For me personally, about the only time that would work would be if I just had a day where my whole schedule was kind of off. Maybe it's a weekend and I went out to breakfast with the family and then got busy doing things and I didn't really have lunch. Sometimes if I have a late breakfast, I kind of miss lunch and I go for an early dinner. And if I want to stick to this and really do this 10-day reboot and have the juice for one meal, I would do it for dinner. But for me, I have a feeling, even though I could pack a lot of nutrients and some calories in that juice, I think probably an hour and a half after I ate that early dinner, I would be hungry again. But it might work for you. So you'll want to think about it. And it could be too that when you think about juicing, maybe during your work week, if it's Monday through Friday, it works really good for you for breakfast. And maybe on the weekends, you choose to do it for lunch. There are a lot of benefits of juicing one meal a day. So one of the easy things is you can get your fruits and your veggies in pretty much with that one juice, depending upon how big of a juice you make. The fruit and the vegetable juices will retain most of the vitamins, minerals, and the plant chemicals that you would get if you were just eating that whole version of the foods. And to eat all of that in one sitting could be a lot if you were just eating the whole fruits and the whole vegetables and taking the time. This is an easy way to pack all of that in. And your fruits and vegetables are really high in antioxidants, and that can help to counteract the free radicals and the toxins that are in your body. So a great way to kind of do a detox from the holidays and kind of get all of that out as well. Plus, the energy that you get from fruit and from vegetables and those nutrients will have the same effect on your body in terms of elevating your energy level as if you ate, something from the vending machine at work, a pastry or candy or soda or something, but you don't have any of the chemicals or the fat. So I'm going to talk now about the different types of juicers that you can get. So there's the centrifugal juicer, and these juicers have they use a cutting blade that is first going to chop everything up and then spin it at a super high speed. And it's kind of like how a washing machine will, wring all the water out from your wet clothes. And then there's a strainer basket with little holes that allows the juice to pass through it, and it keeps the pulp behind. There are a lot of different brands that are out there. They can start at around $100. Breville does a lot of different types of juicers. Hamilton Beach does, and Jack LaLanne's got a pretty good juicer too. I think the Breville has a model that's like $99 on Amazon, and they make a lot of great products. The other one is a masticating slow juicer. And this is what I have. I have one that is made by Omega. These juicers have they crunch it up pretty slowly, and you have the fruit and the vegetable pulp comes out on one side, and then the juice comes out in the other. So while you're getting all of the benefits and the nutrients that are coming out from the juice, you're not actually getting the pulp that goes with it. You can actually take that pulp if you want and make broth with it. You can cook it. If you compost or if you mulch in your garden, you could use it for that as well. Most of the vital enzymes and the nutrients that are in your juices are preserved from the oxidation process, since the juicing doesn't disturb the whole cellular structure of the produce when it's doing that. So the single gear, I had mentioned this before, the single gear, which is the masticating, has that really dry pulp. But if you're not a person who likes a lot of pulp in your juice, this could be really good for you. They start around $100. The better ones are around $250. I believe I got my Omega on sale a couple of years ago for about $300. Just know that if you really wanted to get something that was super high end, they can run upwards of $400 or more. And then last but not least, there's blenders. They also call those pulping machines. One of the benefits of a blender is that you can add flaxseed and wheat germ to those. With my masticating juicer, I'll add flax and wheat germ to it, but I wait until the juice has already done, and then I add it afterwards, and I just kind of stir it up. And it doesn't really change the texture too much for me. I don't mind it. I like to add that in. But when I put it in a masticating juicer, it just kind of comes out the end with the pulp. It doesn't really do any good. So blenders, depends on really what you have. They can start around $100. You could probably find like a West Bend for even less than that. The NutriBullet and the Nutri Ninja that are really popular right now are pretty competitively priced. The Vitamix, which is the granddaddy of them all, is going to be very expensive. Omega also does a blender. You notice that there are some brands in here that really do all different types of juicing, Breville and Hamilton Beach and Von Chef. So you can do a lot of research on them if that's what you want to do. But for this 10 days, if you just have a regular blender and you're really not in the mood to go out and buy something new just so you can do this, there's really no reason why you can't just use the blender that you already have on the shelf, pull that out, make your juice. And then if you decide at the end of 10 days that you really like this and you want to continue, you may want to take a look and do a little bit of research and find out what type of a juicer will work for you. Amazon, Bed Bath & Beyond, Costco, Target, Walmart, they carry a lot of these. So definitely shop around so that you can get the best price. Now we have to decide what it is that you want to juice. I like to recommend that you choose seasonal whenever you can. Local, seasonal, what's growing right now, what can you buy in the store right now that is grown in the United States, Try not to buy something that is grown in Canada if you're not in Canada, or Mexico or Central America right now. Good example, berries are not in season right now. So if you like berries, you can always buy them frozen, organic if you can. A lot of people I love berries in my juices. I like the just the right amount of sweet that they can add, and you can buy them frozen and still get that. But I like seasonal. I went ahead and made a list of some winter fruits and vegetables just to let you know what is good right now. And you'll see when I tell you about some of the nutrients here that there's kind of a pattern, and you'll see what it is just kind of based on the fact that it's winter. So you notice I've got potatoes and sweet potatoes. We've got a lot of root vegetables that are in here: turnips, rutabaga. Potatoes are high in potassium. They're high in vitamin C, and they've got about 4 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber in them. Sweet potatoes are high in vitamin A. They only have about 2 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber, but they're also a good source of vitamin B6. Rutabagas are really high in vitamin C. They're also a good source of fiber and B6. So you think about a lot of these are very high in vitamin C right now during the winter when we've got colds. You might be able to tell I have a little raspy throat. I'm at the tail end of a cold myself, so I apologize for that. I've stopped to take a sip of water every now and then. But the vitamin C that you get naturally in fruits and vegetables that are seasonal can really help you this time of year. If you're wondering what a potato or a sweet potato might taste like in your juice or your smoothie, the sweet potato obviously has a little more sugar than a potato would, and so it will have a little bit of a sweet taste. But mostly the potato is going to give you a little creamier texture, really not a lot of flavor. If you have a masticating juicer, you can put them in with the skin. If you're using a blender or a centrifugal one, I would peel the potato first. Unless I mean, I like the skin off of a red potato or a gold Yukon, but I wouldn't necessarily do it in a regular blender. I would be more tempted to peel it for that. So if you're new to juicing, I've put some easy and tasty and favorite recipes up here for some things that you can try to give you an idea of some things that might go together very well. So broccoli and carrots and apple are a nice combination. You'll find when you're juicing with fruit that a little bit of fruit can go a long way. Um, I have, if I've got, say, 2 apples that are really ripe and I want to be able to use them, I would do 2 apples with a couple of carrots and I'd put the broccoli in. And it will be sweeter. You'll get, some extra calories from that. But you'll want to play around with that and try to figure out, what that balance is for you, for what you like. Celery for me is another one that you don't want to go overboard with it because celery can have a really strong flavor. So I would recommend trying this with 2 stalks of celery, a couple of carrots, an apple, half a lemon, another thing that goes a long way, and ginger root. That also goes a long way. If you have fresh ginger root, that's really best to use. But if you don't have it and you like the taste of ginger, sprinkle some of your ground ginger from your spices. And you can also buy, I've done this before. My grocery store has in the produce section ginger, and I think they do it with garlic too, and different herbs kind of in a squeeze tube, and you can squeeze a little bit of that in as well. Strawberries are always great in a juice or a smoothie. Carrots, you can see we've got a nice pattern going on here with carrots. Carrots juice very well, and an orange. This is another one. Also, if you kind of want to beef this up a little, if you will, and get some extra protein, you can add a nut butter like almond butter or peanut butter, whatever kind of a butter you like. Add maybe a tablespoon of that. It'll add a little bit of flavor. The fat and the protein will help to sustain you longer. Also, plain yogurt. You don't want to look in the refrigerator and grab a blueberry Yoplait with fruit on the bottom. Those things can have as many grams of sugar as a candy bar. So if you're going to juice with yogurt and really want to make it as healthy as possible to kind of get you, away from all the sugar that you ate during the holidays, really recommend a plain yogurt. Low fat, could even be a non-fat if you want, but a little bit of fat isn't bad. And then flaxseed also is high in protein. You can also experiment with some things. So there might be foods that you wouldn't typically eat. I don't personally like to mess with cooking beets at home. I love a beet salad and I'll eat that if I'm out. But I've had fresh beets in the house and they're just kind of messy. I might buy them and cut just a little bit and put it in. I've got the masticating juicer, so it takes the pulp out the other end and I get a little bit of beet. It definitely has a little bit of an earthy, flavor to it. My daughter calls it dirt. Mom, it tastes like dirt. I call it earthy. Very good for you. And a little bit of that can go a long way. So maybe, if you want to buy a whole beet, or some grocery stores in the produce section will have beets that are already peeled and cooked and cleaned, not in a can, but in the produce section. So you might want to buy that. Also, dark leafy greens. So kale, Swiss chard, collard greens. If these are things that you don't normally like to eat, they kind of just disappear in your juice and don't add really much in the way of flavor, but they really pack a punch for nutrients. So experiment and buy some greens that you might not normally eat, and think about putting those in your juice. Kiwi is great. I especially with my masticating juicer, I can cut a kiwi in half and just shove it down in there, and I get the juice. I don't have to, peel that fuzzy skin off of it at all. And then avocado. Avocado is a great way to get healthy fat into your juice, and it makes it a little bit creamier. Doesn't do a lot with flavor. So if you're not a fan of avocado, but you should probably eat some more because it's so good for you, I recommend adding that. So I put together a little sample day for you just to kind of see what you might do. And I put the nutritional information together for what I've put as well. So you could just kind of use this as a guideline. So for breakfast, do a juice with 2 carrots and an apple, maybe, some raw spinach, a kiwi, a cucumber, and a half a cup of plain yogurt. That particular juice has just under 300 calories. So if you need more calories, you can kind of see from this slide, this whole day only has 1,300 calories in it. 31 grams of fiber for the day, and this is the percentage of the nutrients that you're getting. For me, 1,300 calories when I'm trying to lose weight is where I need to be. Maybe a little more if I'm getting in a lot of cardio. You're going to want to adjust this for what works best for you. So if you want to add more calories to this breakfast, adding avocado or flax or a nut butter will be one way to really boost this up a good 100 or 200 calories to make this a little larger for you. For lunch, have a salad with, this is considering 3 ounces of grilled chicken, some tomato, black beans for a little extra protein, olive oil with a little lemon vinaigrette. Have an afternoon snack of an ounce of nuts. And then for dinner, have a whole grain, some roasted vegetables, and I put in 4 ounces of lean pork, tenderloin, or whatever you might like to have for protein. And this whole day, like I said, adds up to about 1,300 calories. So if you need more to sustain you, you certainly could add, change the grilled chicken to more than 3 ounces. The same thing for the pork. I like having, for me, I like having about 3 ounces of a protein like chicken for lunch and 4 ounces for dinner. Well, if I eat a little bit more protein at dinner, I find I'm not as apt to be hungry later and want a snack. So with all of this, I just wanted to remind you that while you're trying to get away from, maybe even extra caffeine you might have had, soda, alcohol, the sugar, all of that over the holidays, that it's important to remember that you still need to hydrate and that water makes up 83% of your blood. It's 75% of your brain and 22% of your bones. It's also 75% of your muscles. And I've listed some of the benefits of water here. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. Try to have water with you all day long, knowing that that's going to help you on your road to feeling better. Also is important to move. I'm not saying that you want to, if you're not doing a lot of exercise right now and maybe that's part of your larger goal for 2016, but think about some things that you can do just to get in some daily movement, whether you're taking, a 15-minute brisk walk as a break during your workday. Maybe you can do that in the morning before you go to work or when you come home. There's benefits to 15 minutes a day and even more benefits if you can do 30 minutes a day. And exercise can improve your mood for up to 12 hours after you do it. So try to think about, over the course of the 10 days as you're doing this, you're going to start to feel better and maybe you can get in a little extra movement as well. I covered a lot today. I would like to just talk a little bit about health coaching. As I mentioned, I'm a certified health coach, and I just wanted to share with you that having support when you want to make changes in your life so that you can be your very best is critical to your success. And being able to have accountability to set and achieve your goals with the help of a health coach can also help open up your life to many wonderful things. So I wanted to offer to you that I would be very happy to work with you if you're interested in hiring a health coach to help you meet your goals. I have 3 different types of programs that I do. I offer hourly sessions. I have a 3-month program as well as a 6-month program, all custom created to help you achieve your personal goals. My rate for the hourly session is $99 an hour, but I have a special right now for those of you attending the webinar, and it's only $50 an hour, and it's good for up to 3 sessions. My 3-month and my 6-month health coaching programs will meet for an hour twice a month, is regularly $149 a month, but I'm offering it right now for $99 a month for the webinar participants. And then the 3 and the 6-month programs also include a free initial consultation. And you can email me if you would like some additional info. I'm also going to be emailing a copy of today's presentation for you to your email, so you'll have that, and you'll also have my email address from that. Okay, we're going to open us up for Q&A. I'm going to take the webinar out of listen-only mode. If you look at the top of your screen, you'll see Interact, and you can choose the button to raise your hand if you have a question. And David and I will be working through the questions, and hopefully we can help you. 1 second here, and I'll change the audio for us.
All attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, so we're now in Q&A mode. Your phone is, or your PC is probably still muted. If you're calling in, you can press *6 when, if you have a question. And if you're on your computer, you can click on the mic button. But just to make it easier, because we have folks on the phone, if you could raise your hand if you have a question, that would be the best way for us to do that. No questions? Oh, Kelly's got a question.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
I have a question when it comes to water because I am pretty bad about getting my water intake. Do you see a downside, or is there any downside to drinking sparkling water? Because I find that I'm not a soda drinker, but if I drink sparkling water, it seems like I can get more down me on a daily basis, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I am a huge fan of sparkling water, and it was my go-to when I this is going to sound funny, but when I quit Diet Coke on July the 9th, 2007. You would think I stopped, drinking alcohol.
Remembering that day?
I remember that was the day I turned my whole life around, but it also was the day I quit Diet Coke. And I went straight to sparkling water in a can because it just reminded me so much of, the whole Diet Coke experience. Um, there's
Yeah.
really, it's just the carbonation that they add to it. There's not any additional sodium. There aren't any other calories that are in it, as long as you're not drinking one that they've added, something to it to sweeten it up. There's no reason at all. I drink a lot of it myself and have at it.
Good, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions today? Linda,
Can you hear me, Sue?
I sure can.
Um, sorry, I got a cold too.
Oh boy, you
I
poor thing.
what you thought about adding any type of protein powder, whether it's vegetarian protein powder or a different type to smoothies. Do you think that's
Is the
necessary?
question what I think about a protein powder?
Yeah.
I've used protein powders. I used I'm trying to remember what the brand was. It's been a while from my health food store. I did a lot of research on it at the time and I went with a whey protein powder. Um, for me personally, at the end of the day, there's the ingredient list on protein powders is so extensive. I just didn't feel very good about using it. That's just my personal opinion. When I did use it, I used it for a while early on, and then I just decided I just didn't really want to do it anymore because I just didn't like the ingredient list in them. But I did a lot of research, and I think it was a brand that was carried specifically from my health food store, a local health food store that was whey based.
Yeah, I've used some that are just vegetarian.
Hmm.
Sure that I'm not sure if it really helps or if it's really necessary because I don't think our protein level needs to be that high, but I was always concerned that I should add the protein.
I've also read, kind of conflicting things about um, protein powder or adding that kind of protein because you're working out. And the most recent article that I read was basically unless you're a bodybuilder and you're just, really you've got these huge muscles and your body is just burning calories all the time and you need to replace that protein from those type of extensive workouts, it's not really necessary.
So just adding yogurt or the other healthy fats
Yeah,
would, would work probably, right?
I honestly can tell the difference if I add almond butter or avocado or yogurt to my juice. That will hold me like an hour longer at work before I start saying, "Is it lunchtime yet?"
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Any other questions today? David, can you unmute Dave? David's having trouble unmuting. Dave, can you type me a message in the chat window and then I can relay your question? You have a question about potatoes. The best type and the nutrition of each. Let me flip back. I'm going to just look at my notes rather than I've got the slides printed out so I can go back to that. So, from a nutrition standpoint, for the potatoes, it really is going to depend on what it is you're looking for. So, I would say russet potatoes and red potatoes and the Yukon Gold, those are the three basic ones, nutritionally are probably pretty much the same. You're going to see the difference in the sweet potatoes. I didn't write down the amount of sugar in a sweet potato, but it's obvious that it's going to be slightly higher than a regular potato is. Regular potatoes have more protein than a sweet potato, and they have more fiber. But a sweet potato also is higher in vitamin B6 if that's something that you care about, and sweet potatoes are also higher in vitamin A. Did that answer your question? Great. Thank you, David. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. My last slide has one of my favorite quotes. Eat well, move daily, hydrate often, sleep lots. We can never get enough sleep. And love your body and repeat this for life. I've listed the references I have today. If you're interested in a book on juicing, I love The Juicing Bible by Pat Crocker. A lot of great information in there. And then another book that I have that has a lot of recipes, not necessarily for juicing, but it's called Simply in Season, and it's got great information about what foods are in season and recipes that go around with that. So if you're wondering, what can I buy that's good now, and then what do I make with it? It's another really great book. I will be emailing you a handout, which is a copy of all of these slides. And if you're interested in health coaching, I would sure love to help you out. Thank you all so much for attending today. Linda, I hope you feel better, and I'm glad my voice held out for all of you. Thanks so much and have a great evening.